The thing about intelligence is that it's often a curse disguised as a blessing when it comes to money. I've watched brilliant people, engineers, doctors, lawyers, people with PhDs, make the same catastrophic financial decisions over and over again in their 20s and 30s, not because they're stupid, but because being smart makes you dangerous in ways you don't see coming. Charlie Munger understood this better than almost anyone. He spent decades watching highly educated people destroy their financial futures with decisions that seemed logical at the time, but were fundamentally flawed at their core. When you're intelligent, you develop an inflated sense of your own judgment. You've been rewarded your entire life for being the smartest person in the room. School validated you. Your career validated you. Every test, every promotion, every nod of approval reinforced the same message. Your brain is your greatest asset. So when you turn that brain toward money, you naturally assume the same rules apply. You think, I figured out calculus, I can figure out the stock market. You think, I built a successful career, I can build wealth the same way. This is the first trap. Money doesn't reward intelligence the way school does. It rewards patience, discipline, emotional control, and most importantly, the ability to admit what you don't know. Munger talked about this constantly. He'd say the first rule of compounding is to never interrupt it unnecessarily. But smart people interrupt compounding all the time because they can't sit still. They get bored. They see an opportunity and think, I'm smart enough to make this work. They chase returns. They try to time the market. They convince themselves they found an edge that nobody else has seen. And maybe they have found something, but usually what they've found is a way to lose money faster than average people do. Here's what happens in practice. You're 25, maybe 30. You've just started earning real money for the first time in your life. You've got student loans, sure, but you've also got a salary that feels enormous compared to what you made in college. You look around and see people buying houses, driving nice cars, taking expensive vacations. Your peers are doing it. Your colleagues are doing it. And you think, I deserve this too. I worked hard. I'm smart. I can afford it. So you finance a car you don't need. You buy a house that stretches your budget. You take on debt because the interest rate seems reasonable and you're confident your income will keep growing. This is the second trap. Lifestyle inflation isn't a mistake stupid people make. It's a mistake smart people make because they can rationalize it beautifully. The rationalization sounds like this. I need a reliable car for work. Real estate is an investment. I'm networking on these trips. They're professional development. Every decision gets wrapped in a layer of logic that makes it seem responsible. But underneath the logic is something much simpler. You want to feel successful now. You don't want to wait. You've been delaying gratification your whole life, studying while others partied, working while others relaxed. And now, you want your reward. The problem is that real wealth doesn't come from looking successful. It comes from being patient while looking ordinary. Munger lived in the same house for decades. He drove normal cars. He didn't care about impressing anyone. He understood that every dollar you spend on looking wealthy is a dollar that can't compound into actual wealth. But when you're smart and young, you think you can have both. You think you can spend on lifestyle and still build wealth because you'll just earn more, work harder, find better opportunities, and maybe you will earn more. But it won't matter if your expenses rise just as fast. Then there's the investment trap. Smart people are particularly vulnerable here because they're used to solving problems through analysis. They read books, study charts, follow the news, build spreadsheets. They convince themselves they're making informed decisions, but what they're actually doing is confusing activity with insight. Munger and Buffett talked about this endlessly. The stock market isn't a puzzle you solve through cleverness. It's a game of probabilities, psychology, and time. Most of the time, the smartest move is to do nothing. But doing nothing feels like wasting your intelligence. So smart people trade too much. They chase hot stocks. They buy into narratives that sound compelling. They invest in things they don't understand because someone else who seems smart recommended it. They get into crypto because they read the white paper and it seems revolutionary. They buy individual stocks because they think they've analyzed the company better than the market has. They time their entries and exits because they've identified patterns. And sometimes they get lucky. Sometimes they make money. And that's the worst thing that can happen because it confirms their bias. It tells them they were right to trust their intelligence. So they do it again and again, until eventually the market humbles them the way it humbles everyone. The painful truth is that intelligence can't predict the future. It can't tell you when a recession will hit, when a company will miss earnings, when sentiment will shift. All it can do is help you understand probabilities and manage risk. But understanding probabilities doesn't feel exciting. It doesn't feel like winning. So smart people keep looking for the edge, the insight, the trade that will prove they're smarter than everyone else. And in doing so, they miss the only edge that actually matters: time. Munger's wealth didn't come from being smarter than other investors. It came from starting early, staying invested, and not doing anything stupid for 50 years. That's it. That's the whole secret. But when you're young and smart, 50 years sounds like forever. You don't want to wait that long. You want results now. You want to feel like your intelligence is making a difference. So you take risks you shouldn't take. You chase returns you shouldn't chase. You interrupt compounding because sitting still feels like giving up. Another mistake smart people make is overestimating their ability to recover from setbacks. You think, if I lose money, I'll just earn it back. I'm smart, I'm capable, I'll figure it out. And maybe you will. But what you don't realize is that time is the one resource you can't earn back. If you lose 5 years to bad financial decisions in your 20s, those aren't just 5 years of savings you've lost. They're 5 years of compounding you'll never get back. $1 invested at 25 is worth exponentially more at 65 than $1 invested at 30. But when you're 25, you don't feel that urgency. You think you have all the time in the world. You don't. There's also the trap of complexity. Smart people love complexity because it makes them feel smart. Simple solutions feel too easy, too obvious, so they create elaborate financial strategies. They optimize their tax situations. They use leverage. They build portfolios with dozens of positions. They convince themselves that complexity equals sophistication. But Munger always said the opposite. He said the best investment decisions are often the simplest ones. Buy good businesses at fair prices and hold them. Don't try to be clever. Don't try to outsmart the market. Just be patient and rational. But patience and rationality don't feel impressive. They don't give you stories to tell at dinner parties. They don't make you feel like you're using your intelligence. So smart people keep adding complexity, keep looking for angles, keep trying to optimize, and in doing so, they create more opportunities to make mistakes. Every additional decision is another chance to be wrong. Every layer of complexity is another thing that can break. The smartest investors aren't the ones with the most sophisticated strategies. They're the ones who avoid mistakes. Here's what else happens. Smart people surround themselves with other smart people, and they all reinforce each other's biases. You're in a group chat with your college friends, and everyone's talking about their investments, their side hustles, their real estate deals. Nobody wants to admit they're just buying index funds and waiting. That sounds boring, so everyone exaggerates their wins and downplays their losses. You hear about the stock that doubled, but not about the 3 that got cut in half. You hear about the rental property that's cash flowing, but not about the one that's been vacant for months. And you start to think everyone else is getting ahead while you're falling behind. So you take bigger risks to catch up. This is how smart people destroy themselves financially. Not through ignorance, but through competition and ego. Munger talked about ego constantly. He said ego is the enemy of learning, And in investing, if you stop learning, you're finished. But when you're smart, your ego is wrapped up in being right. Admitting you made a mistake feels like admitting you're not as smart as you thought. So instead of cutting losses, you hold on to bad investments, hoping they'll turn around. Instead of admitting you don't understand something, you double down and try to prove you were right all along. This is how small mistakes become catastrophic ones. The other thing about smart people is they often come from backgrounds where money wasn't discussed openly. If you grew up middle class or upper middle class, your parents probably had decent financial habits, but they might not have taught you explicitly how money works. You learned how to study, how to work hard, how to build a career, but you didn't learn about compound interest, about asset allocation, about the psychology of investing. So when you start earning money, you're flying blind. You're making it up as you go. And because you're smart, you assume you'll figure it out. Sometimes you do, but usually not before making expensive mistakes. There's also a timing problem. The years when you're smartest and most energetic, your 20s and 30s, are also the years when you have the least money and the most financial pressure. You're trying to build a career, maybe start a family, pay off debt, save for a house. You're stretched thin. So even though you know intellectually that you should be investing for the long term, you're constantly tempted to use money for immediate needs, and because you're smart, you can always justify it. I'll invest more once I get the promotion. I'll save more once the kids are older. I'll focus on retirement once I've paid off the house. But those goalposts keep moving. There's always another expense, another priority, another reason to delay. Munger's advice was simple: pay yourself first. Before you spend on anything else, invest a fixed percentage of your income. Automate it so you don't have to think about it. Make it a non-negotiable part of your financial life. But smart people resist this because it feels too simple. They want to optimize. They want to maximize their current quality of life while still building wealth. They think they can have it all. And maybe they can, but usually they can't. The final trap is that smart people often conflate earning power with financial security. You think, I make 6 figures, I'm fine. But earning a lot doesn't mean you're building wealth if you're spending just as much. I've seen people earning $300,000 a year, living paycheck to paycheck because they've scaled their lifestyle to match their income. They've got the big house, the nice cars, the private schools, the vacations, and it all feels justified because they're earning enough to afford it. But they're not building wealth. They're just running faster on the same treadmill. Munger would say, this is the difference between being rich and being wealthy. Being rich is about income. Being wealthy is about assets. You can be rich and broke. You can earn a fortune and still have nothing because you spent it all. Wealth is what's left after you've lived your life. It's the assets that compound, the investments that grow, the money that works for you instead of you working for money. But building wealth requires sacrifice. It requires living below your means, delaying gratification, resisting lifestyle inflation. And smart people struggle with this because they feel entitled to enjoy the fruits of their intelligence. So what's the solution? How do smart people avoid these traps? The answer is humility. You have to accept that being smart doesn't make you special when it comes to money. The market doesn't care about your IQ. It doesn't care about your degrees or your achievements. It only cares about whether you make rational decisions over long periods of time. And rationality in investing isn't about being clever. It's about being disciplined, patient, and honest with yourself. You have to accept that you won't beat the market. You probably won't find the next Amazon. You won't time the crash. You won't outsmart professional investors who do this for a living with resources you don't have. And that's okay. You don't need to do any of those things to build wealth. You just need to start early, invest consistently, keep costs low, and let compounding do its work. That's it. It's boring. It's unglamorous. It doesn't make you feel smart, but it works. You also have to divorce your self-worth from your financial decisions. Being wrong about an investment doesn't make you stupid. It makes you human. Every great investor has made terrible mistakes. Munger and Buffett have lost billions on bad bets. The difference is, they learned from those mistakes instead of letting ego prevent them from adapting. They admitted when they were wrong, cut their losses, and moved on. Smart people need to learn to do the same. And finally, you have to recognize that time is your greatest asset when you're young. Not your intelligence, not your earning power, not your ability to analyze opportunities. Time. Every year you delay investing is a year of compounding you lose forever. Every dollar you spend on looking successful is a dollar that can't grow into actual wealth. The decisions you make in your 20s and 30s will determine your financial reality in your 50s and 60s. And by then, it's too late to change course. My take on all this, look, I get it. I've been there. When you're young and smart and finally making real money, the last thing you want to hear is that you should live like a broke college student for another decade. You want to enjoy your life. You want to feel successful. You've earned it. But here's the thing nobody tells you. The people who look successful in their 30s are often the ones struggling in their 50s. And the people who look ordinary in their 30s are often the ones with real freedom later. I think what Munger understood, and what took me way too long to learn, is that intelligence is a tool, not a strategy. You can't think your way to wealth. You can't analyze your way to financial security. You have to live it. You have to make the boring, unglamorous choices day after day, year after year. You have to resist the temptation to prove how smart you are. And that's incredibly hard when your entire identity is built around being the smartest person in the room. But if I could go back and tell my younger self one thing, it would be this: stop trying to be clever and start trying to be consistent. The wealth you build won't come from the brilliant trade or the perfect investment. It'll come from the years you didn't do anything stupid, from the lifestyle inflation you resisted, from the compounding you didn't interrupt. That's not sexy, that's not impressive, but it's real. And decades from now, when you're actually wealthy instead of just looking successful, you'll be grateful you figured it out before it was too late.